Alright, so the latest in the Republican takeover of the House, Republicans have now introduced some legislation that would make it harder for the EPA to carry out President Obama's goal of reducing our carbon emissions to fight global warming. And they're doing so in the name of jobs. It'll cost too many jobs to lower our carbon emissions. And this is also the same approach they're using to the trying to repeal health care. And actually, they've titled the bill, it's like repeal of the job-killing Health Care Act law. That's what they've titled the legislation. The health care legislation was like making health care affordable or something like that. And then they've actually put job killing in the title. And I think it really goes to show kind of what is motivating the GOP. I figured it out. It's that strong arm of big business right up the ass of the GOP, and it's just working the mouth like a puppet. That's what's going on, because companies have, discovered that providing healthcare for their employees is expensive, and manufacturing and producing vehicles that are lower in carbon emissions, it takes money, and so they want to avoid having to pass it on to the customers, which would affect their competition. And I guess the thing is that creating jobs is great. Today employment numbers came out, 9.4, still sucks, monkey balls, but jobs are not everything. It's not the end-all, be-all. If we don't have legislation in place to, cut carbon emissions so that, the fucking ozone layer isn't eradicated, jobs won't mean anything. If, our waterways and our water supply and the air that we breathe, if those are all polluted beyond recognition, if we're destroying the habitat that we are living in, the planet that we're on, whether 103,000 people got jobs won't matter. If the people who, have jobs aren't getting decent health care coverage, then having a job isn't really going to matter much. What this GOP party is pushing for are, policies and legislation that favors the wealthy and large corporations. And I have no doubt that some of them truly believe that they are doing what's best for this country. I don't doubt a lot of people's motivations. I doubt some of them. I think some of them know that they're working specifically for the wealthy and large corporations, and that they, can cloak it in jobs. But the fact is that in my lifetime, more jobs have been created under Democratic administrations than under Republican ones. Also, the deficits were less under Clinton than Bush. And Obama has kind of inherited the disaster that George Bush created. And it's important for us to, acknowledge that, yes, spending has gone up very high, but the Republicans are just intrinsically devoted to policies that would extend those deficits even more. Repealing the Health Care Reform Act would add like $130 billion to the deficit over 10 years. The tax cut compromise that Republicans, held hostage, that gave tax cuts to the wealthy, that added hundreds of billions of dollars to the deficit. When John Boehner was interviewed this week and asked what programs specifically he would cut from, he gave kind of this amorphous, well, I think there's money to be found in the Defense Department budget, basically a whole bunch of stuff that, if you want to be ruled by ideology, I guess that's fine, but I'm going to call you out on it. And you know, if what you're concerned with is healthcare being unconstitutional, or you don't like the policy, that's fine. But don't, you know, cloak it as it's a job killer, and, you know, say that you're for reducing the deficit. Your number one priority is reducing the deficit, and yet you're enacting all this legislation and pushing for all these policies that actually enlarge the deficit. Because then you're just not being truthful, and I'm looking for the media to call them out on this. And I love that, you know, the GOP in the House decided that they wanted to read the Constitution aloud, because that was going to be kind of their thing. And two of the House Republicans were there, seemingly violating the Constitution. They weren't there for the swearing in. So that was pretty awesome. Just kind of the latest in the line of Republican hypocrisy. It's like, maybe if you had actually read the Constitution, you would have known to show up. And yeah, they were at a fundraiser. That's why they missed their swearing in. They were at a fundraiser. I think it was one returning congressman and one freshman. But anyways, hilarious stuff. Talk to you guys later.